Bill Brosseau here at Brosseau Vineyard, Chalon, Appalachian, with the Pinnacles National Monument behind me. We're here in the Chardonnay block, 40-year-old Chardonnay vines. You can see they're not very big like you would imagine for 40-year-old vines. A large part of that is really due to the limestone and the weak soils that we have here. This limestone is almost like chalk. You can write on chalkboard with it, and what all that does is that gives that kind of mineral, that unique flavor profile to the wines. And you can see it's intermixed with decomposed granite, which are sedimentary from all the volcanic activity, all the granite from the park, the national park. And these soils are about 20 million years old, which is about the age of the volcanic formation. And so when things were cooling down during the volcanic activity, an ancient seabed was uplifted, and that's where you get this deposit of limestone that's very rare in the state of California. So I've got our latest release here with me, the 2019 Brosseau Vineyard Chardonnay. Really excited for this, essentially the 40th year of the vineyard. So these vines, with how old they are, you can see they're not very large. They don't put a lot of thick canes out. They're definitely very mature, have struggled to get through these soils. And so we get very low yields off these blocks. Real distinguishing component, I would say, of the Chardonnay from this terroir is not only the minerality you get, but also you get this nice dried herb infusion. We have a lot of wild thyme, sage, chaparral, and that infusion of those herbs really carry in this wine along with the minerality. And then we also see a lot of nice stone fruit qualities like apricot, especially. But certainly the Chardonnay, it has a lot of concentration. We have clay in the soil, but it's also a complex soil. With the combination of the clay and the complexity of limestone and granite, we get a real complex texture and long finish. And I really feel that this limestone is a big reason why these wines age so well, especially for Chardonnay. And so it's been really fun to watch the evolution of this vineyard since I was a little kid. My parents bought this land really based on tasting a bottle of Chenin Blanc from Chalon Vineyard back in the 70s. They were just so impressed with the typicity, the quality, and they came down and found that land prices down here were much more affordable than up in Napa and Sonoma, and it propelled them to plant a vineyard with zero experience farming vines. So a little bit of a fun fact about my family's start in the vineyard business. I'm here in our Pinot Noir block. This is one of our oldest blocks on the ranch of Pinot Noir. These are about 40 years old now, and this block always goes into our single vineyard bottling, and some of the barrels sometimes even make it into the Neclaire blend we do. And so you can see these vines, they're not really big. They're, again, very old, so they've really struggled in these limestone and decomposed granite soils. But also there's another layer of silica, sandy clay loam, and other rocks such as quartz and chert. So it's a very complex soil, and I think that's what gives our Pinot Noirs such intensity, but also texture. The complex soils, I do find, give that complex finish, quality of the wine that we see. And certainly with our proximity to dried herbs, we have a lot of wild thyme, sage, there is a little bit of an infusion of that into the wine, as well as some nice cherry and other dark fruit qualities. So I've got here our upcoming release, the 2018 Brosseau Vineyard Pinot Noir. You're probably wondering why it's one of the last Pinot Noirs we release in the schedule. We have a lot of intensity from the elevation we're at. We're at 1,600 feet here. We have these limestone and decomposed granite soils that really give a lot of tannin strength and intensity, and so the wines tend to need a little bit more time to spend in barrel, to settle down in bottle, but we really feel it's worth the wait. For those Pinot Noir lovers, this is a great fit for it. And so with the infusion of the dried herbs around our property here, of wild thyme and sage, you get a little bit of that in the background. Certainly lots of cherry, lots of cranberry, pomegranate notes, but then you also get the minerality from the limestone and decomposed granite. The 2018 vintage I'm really happy with. The weather was spectacular. The growing season was all we could ask for. Then when we saw the wine chemistry develop, it was very impressive. No shortage of color, but also incredible silky tannin and juiciness that is pretty rare for the vintage to have everything hit just perfectly. So been really happy to have this release come out, and I can't wait to open this bottle and try tonight and send some tasting notes for it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.